Good morning, friends. It is Friday. It is February 19th, and we have begun Pisces season. This was the day that I mentioned to you that might feel a little bit weird because we are in Pisces season now, and Mercury is almost direct, but not quite. So, it's a day of transition energy. And Pisces energy is very different from Aquarius energy. However, I do want to point out one thing about the zodiac in general. The signs are placed next to each other in a way that makes sense for the cosmos, right? It makes energetic sense. So really, every transition that we make from sign to sign is with purpose and makes some sort of sense. So it's not like, ooh, it's such a rough transition to go from Aquarius to Pisces. It's a logical transition to go from Aquarius to Pisces. And we're going to talk about that as well. Pisces is the last sign of the zodiac. So we are completing our revolution right now. And while Aquarius, with its air energy and forward thinking and innovation, has kind of come through and unseated us in many ways with this retrograde as well, we're now moving into Pisces water energy. And Pisces get a bad rap because, well, all right, let me just back up before I start on my ranting about astrological signs. I am a water sign, so I just want you to know that. So I love us. But Pisces can get a bad rap, but here is why. Pisces are really meant to be in temples, receiving intuitive information and being cared for. It's not a sign that was meant to do hard labor or to be overly bogged down in the third dimensional realities of a life built upon man-made constructs. Pisces energy just doesn't jive with that. So good news is, for all of you Pisces, is we're moving out of that. And Aquarius energy has come through to open the gates of that. So now that we're moving from Aquarius to Pisces, Pisces is going to be the integration of what Aquarius has given us so far. Now remember, we are in an underlying energy now of Aquarius energy. And interestingly enough, so we're moving from the age of Pisces into the age of Aquarius, all right? So this transition we're having right now is really interesting because it's kind of like, oh, hello, hello, hello. So we're moving from one to the other. Now, being that we're moving towards the age of Aquarius, we're not there yet. We have about 100 years until we're actually in it. 100 years is like a blip. So it's like, that's 100 years. So just remember that. It's not a long time in world time. So that means we're really transitioning into it. And what's happening now with Aquarius moving us into Pisces is we are getting a taste of what that looks like. So Pisces, the fish, right, is an incredibly intuitive sign, very emotional. And when I say emotional, let's take a minute and talk about what that means. We have within our programmed brains at this time a very specific idea of what it means to be emotional. In fact, many of us have probably come under some criticism for being too emotional at some point in time, right? And especially as women. And it is looked at as a negative quality because it is out of control. It's time to look at these things from a different perspective. Human nature is about emotion. To say somebody is too emotional is to deny their humanity and to tell them that they need to repress their essence. Most people who act overly emotional only express that way because they have spent most of their lives being unable to safely express their actual emotions when they occur. So let's look at emotions differently and start taking the taboo out of that. Let's not just ascribe being overly emotional to women people, to feminine leaning people, and understand that as human beings, emotions are where it's at. That's how we do things. We feel. So to think that we don't need to feel as much as we feel is absolutely absurd. So opening your minds to kind of bring that new awareness in, and be careful with your words, because we do say things that affirm the negative aspect of being emotional. We're all emotional. So now Pisces is really emotional though. So as I say all of that, as a water sign, any water sign, emotions are their superpower. But if you've been told all your life that your superpower is actually your weakness and the biggest problem about you, how does that make you feel? Right? Because what are you going to do? This is who I am, and you're telling me who I am is too much, or, irritating, annoying, irrational, whatever it is. So as we move into Pisces season, let's open our hearts to our fellow Pisces and try to see the benefit of being such an emotional creature, and try to hold space for all the emotions that are going to come up for us during Pisces season. Now, at the same time, Pisces energy is also very, very much like that elevated priestess type energy, okay? I always say, for every astrological sign, there is the healed version and the unhealed version. And we all kind of vacillate between healed and unhealed at, various points of the day. But in its healed version, Pisces is able to connect and to receive information and to integrate it in a way that can be expressed emotionally and people can understand and feel it in their bones even. So Pisces is the mystic, the intuitive, the magic, okay? So if you have a Pisces in your life, let them know they're magic. They will like that. Trust me. So what does it mean for us for this rest of the Pisces season as we move from Aquarius into Pisces? What do we need to know? What's the deal? Well, as you may have noticed, we had the Saturn square Uranus, and that was on Wednesday. I would like for you to turn your focus to Texas right now, because what's happening there is going to give us an indicator of what is very likely to happen at many other places in our country and around the world. Actually are already happening. We're just not aware of them. Infrastructures are crumbling and people are suffering because of it. You're getting a heads up. You're getting a heads up. So take that for whatever it means to you personally. Trust in your intuitive guidance and make yourself prepared for things to be a little bit dicey or a lot bit dicey for, the rest of this year, because we are removing structures that don't work, that are faulty. And in order to remove them, we're kind of hanging in the air there. So this was the first of 3 times that Saturn is going to square with Uranus, and I think at every point we are going to see, eyelash in my eye, we're going to see a increase, okay? An increase in the intensity. What can you do besides obvious things, such as sending aid, checking on your people, all of the normal things we do to help people in crisis? Something else that you can do that I really want you to understand how important this is to send energy over there, Okay, we talked yesterday when we were doing the channeling with the Purple Crescent about one of the questions that somebody asked was, how can we help the earth to heal herself? How can we help her? And the answer to that was to have consciousness about the earth's consciousness and to consciously send our loving energy into her as much as we possibly can. When we send our energetic focus to one point, we uplift that vibration very much. So, you know, the term, you know, sending love, sending hope and prayers, praying for you, all those things, those can very, very easily sound like useless platitudes because we're saying them, but the people are still in crisis. However, I don't want you to neglect the importance of sending energetic assistance. So, and it's something we can all do so easily that we all should be doing it. So taking a moment in your day, sending conscious energy to Texas and wherever else you're feeling it. Where do you think your energy should go? Where should you send some extra love? Just take a minute, close your eyes and tap into the grid. It'll tell you. Send your love, send your energy there, send healing so that we can all remember that we are connected. We are connected together in this web and we are all lifting the vibration right now. And it isn't easy, it is rough, you know. But what is important to remember is that we're doing this for a reason, okay? So send. Obviously, if you are able to send physical aid, you should do that as well, okay? Because this is big, and it's really easy for us to sit in comfort and discuss it. But I just want to impress upon you that what's happening in Texas is happening so many places and has been happening for a very long time. That level of crisis, some people have been born into and have never known anything else. Think about that, okay? The reason we are moving out of these old structures is so that is no longer the norm, which means we have to let ourselves get a little bit uncomfortable. We have to let ourselves expand our minds to understand that what was once okay and normal was only okay and normal for a very minority of the people living on Earth. So we have to be more inclusive, we have to open up, and we have to move into that new energy. So what can you do? Again, send your energy to these places. Take your consciousness and add it to that mix. It does help. And anything you can do to send aid, do so. Make sure you're vetting where you're sending aid. If you have family, friends, whatever, see what you can do. Facebook is actually, like social media generally, is really helpful in these instances, because I know that I have a friend who's down in Texas right now, which is so interesting because she's not from there. She's not even supposed to be living there, but she's there, and she can't be in her home. The whole place has been flooded from bursted pipes. She's in a hotel, and she just said that they're raising the rates at the hotel, and they don't know how long they're gonna have to be in the hotel. Right? Like, what the fuck? Like, who does that? So, she's like, anything you can do to send. So, of course, like, sending, because I can do that. So find out what you can do and do it. And that is not just for this crisis. This is just for things in general. We are each other's people. Let's take care of each other. For too long, and I have struggled this with myself, for too long we have adopted this mentality that every single person has got to pull themselves up from rock bottom and make it work themselves. And we can't give handouts and we can't take care of people. Why? What do you think is going to happen? Well, you create dependency. They're leaning on the system. That's not the way. That's not how they learn. Why do we have to teach people lessons? It's really easy to talk about teaching people lessons when you have 3 full meals a day and heat and water. Unless everybody has those basic necessities, I don't think it's fair for us to say anything at all about it or cast judgments. If you can spare some money to help somebody to eat, why would you not do that? Why would you not do it just because you feel like if you give them a handout, they might take advantage of it? Who takes advantage of anything when they don't even know when their next meal is, right? So think about these things. I think about them all the time because this is something I've really struggled with because I was raised that way. And I know a lot of us were raised that way. It's like, I didn't get here by taking handouts. I didn't have, somebody doing this for me or whatever. And so they shouldn't have it either. And that is just the wrong way. And I don't like to say things are wrong, but like, God, that's just so fucked up. And I've seen it in myself. So I'm saying this to you because I've been working on this because it's difficult. It's really difficult to escape that mindset because it's so prevalent. It's actually very much ingrained in our specific culture, deeply, right? So move into more of a giving space. Soften your heart. If you're able to give, you should give. And you know what happens when you do that? You get back. And because that's the way energy works. And, we don't give to receive, obviously, but that is the byproduct of opening up and letting energy flow. We don't need to be Scrooge McDucks over here hoarding all of our energy. We just don't. Energy needs to move so that it can grow, so that it can create. And as you give energy to others, to your family, because we are all family, you give energy, it will come back in some way, shape, or form. So just start to think about that in your in your mind. Just let it roll around, see what that feels like for you, what it brings up, how it hits, because this is the kind of change that is internal. All right. And when it happens to us internal this way, the external structures that supported the old way of thinking can no longer hold. Because if we're not buying in to that greedy mindset, to that like everyone is on their own mindset, if our energy is no longer aligned with it, it can't stay. So it's the inside work that is going to make the biggest effect on the outside world. So it's all here. It's opening your heart and understanding, and obviously taking care of yourself and putting yourself and your family first always. But yeah, that's what I have to say about that. So, okay, we're pulling a card. Sorry, I'm like, getting in all the feels this morning. All right, we're pulling a card. I'm gonna go ahead and pull from this tarot deck, actually. My head is killing me now. Okay. We're shifting again. I'm so sorry for the left turn, but I'm going to pull a card for Pisces season from the Dreams of Gaia Tarot, and I'm also going to pull from the Fairy Force deck because they both want to play. They actually want to play together. So we're going to do that and see what Pisces season has to tell us. Okay, there's one. And let's see here. This one doesn't even want me to shuffle. It just wants me to open and pull. Okay. All right, we've got our two cards. You guys are going to laugh if you've been hanging with me for a while. So, and no, it's not the Devil card. So we have our Fairy Forest card is number 25, and it's the Weaver. She has come up a lot. A lot. I know I've read this card to you at least 3 times very recently, like this year. And then we have 2 of Earth over here. Just take a look. This is very like Uranus energy happening here. Take a look at that. Okay, so let's pull out the things. pull out the things and see what the deal is. All right, so Two of Earth is going to be talking about, all right, balance. Balance within yourself. So just like we were just talking about being able to open up to new ways of thinking, of sending help, and also helping yourself, it's finding that balance and staying grounded within it. Forgiving yourself for any limitations that you might have, because we can be very hard on ourselves that way, right? So just keeping balance and that equilibrium within yourself, asking for help if you need it, being open to compromise, and having a sense of purpose. Now, that's just what's happening with this book here, but from what I'm understanding, this card is going to connect with the Fairy Forest card in some way. So we're going to read this again, and I will place this card, of course, in the Restoration Facebook group so you can look at it. It is the Weaver. It's number 25. You have inherited aspects of your family's honor and word. Word is W-Y-R-D, and side note, word is an ancient magical philosophy, and it's also the root of the word weird. It is both personal and global, and perhaps even beyond that, it is galactic. Every single thing in the world, seen and unseen, is connected and can have influence on the other in an infinite series of variations and patterns. Your choices and actions, your thoughts and words are important. They have impact. They have meaning, and they are part of the creation of the world our children will inherit. So that is word. Now back to the card. The actions of your ancestors have had a ripple effect on your life, and you have worked through some of this impact with strength and nobility. There may be more work to do yet. You have free will, and you also have a destiny, and the two dance together and form a pattern that is unique to you. This is your contribution to the web of word. Every action has an impact. Every choice will create results that are impossible to see now. So consider the choices before you and choose what is for the highest good of all, what is most honorable and beyond the personal. Ask no person to give up their personal honor to further your own ambitions. Consider the impact of your choices into the future, and consider the ancestors and what they would feel about your choices. You shall now choose well, for you are weaving the world that was, weaving the present moment, weaving the world that shall be. What happens to one of us in our country town family happens to us all. Every act vibrates through this universe and on this great energetic web, and we are, in every moment, with every word and thought and deed, contributing to this great grid of energy. Wow. It's been a hot minute since the Fairy Forest came through and summed up my entire talk for me so concisely, but I think that's a mic drop for the fairies. So, recap. You matter. Your actions matter. Your energy matters. We are all connected. Let's help each other. And let's look at the word help differently as well, because we're just sending and receiving energy. And there's no shame or guilt in that. And we need to normalize asking for help when we need it, and knowing that that is not a sign of weakness. The weakness is in the power structures that have created a world where people have to be in that situation. It's not us. So let's move together as one big group of amazing humans. Help each other where we can, send love where we can, and start to bring in this beautiful new world. You already are doing it every single day. I love you guys. I hope you have an amazing, amazing weekend. I will be back on Monday. If you need anything, please reach out. If you've been enjoying this podcast, this YouTube, this live, wherever you're watching me from today, I would so very much appreciate it if you would subscribe and share with your friends. Have a wonderful day. I love you. Mwah. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe and follow.